am so excited for you guys because I have a very special guest today. I am joined by the beautiful Mandy B. Anderson. She is a certified L.E.A.N, is it L.E.A.N or just Lean? Do you say Lean coach? Okay.
Yep,
Lean coach.
Lean.
She's also the author of In Sickness and in Health, Lessons Learned for the Journey of Cystic Fibrosis and Total Health, which is quite the name, and I can't wait to dig a little bit deeper into that. She's also a speaker, and she does clients one-on-one, and just overall, we're going to talk about some amazing information here. So thank you so much, Mandy.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, Taylor.
So first off, explain to me exactly what is a health and wellness coach. What does that mean? How is that different than a personal trainer?
Well, a health and wellness coach is somebody who comes in and really helps somebody start their path to better health. A lot of people don't really know where to start when it comes to eating better. Mm-hmm. They don't really know how to identify what their eating habits are. I go a little deeper with my coaching. I'm a certified L.E.A.N coach, so I teach the programs that are done by the Dr. Sears Wellness Institute,
okay.
The L.E.A.N Start programs, as well as Primetime Health for adults. And so you get families and adults. But then okay. I also like to bring in a little bit of spiritual health and a lot more like attitude health too with my clients who are open to that, obviously.
Right.
Because that really is, our mental attitude as a whole has a huge effect on whether or not we'll follow through with what our health goals are. So as a health coach, I come alongside my clients and teach them a better understanding of nutrition and what their body needs,
okay.
as well as encouraging them with some healthy recipes and with some new habit ideas.
Right. So you're kind of like training wheels almost for getting started on a healthy lifestyle.
Yep. Yep, and I don't really go into exercise a lot. I
mm-hmm.
encourage it and I share why it's beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, when it comes to the nuts and bolts of exercise, that's where a personal trainer comes in.
Right. So we kind of do the physical thing. You're super important to helping you get into the mental state and to get your mind
yes.
in the right place. Because if your mind's not there, then no matter how much I work you out in a gym, you're not going to get the results and it's not going to be lasting.
Right, exactly. And then as well as, giving them the full understanding of nutrition.
Mm-hmm. For sure. What kind of nutrition profile do you generally follow?
Well, the Dr. Sears program follows the idea of eating real food,
uh-huh.
but we start with something called the traffic light eating program,
okay.
and that's getting people to think about food like a traffic light. So we start with the green light foods, which are all fruits and vegetables,
mm-hmm.
and those are what you can have all the time. They help your body go. And then we move into the yellow light foods, which are like your grains and some of your proteins that you need.
Mm-hmm.
You need them every day, but you don't want to overdo it. So we call those the yellow light slow down foods.
Right.
And then the red light foods, obviously all the processed foods, the hydrogenated oils, the sugars, the fats, those are foods that you want to stop and think about
mm-hmm.
and either not choose them or choose a smaller portion. And a lot of the clients that I work with are in that season of life that I was once in,
uh-huh.
where everything they eat is a red light food. And so to get them on, the habit of just starting to look for green and yellow
right.
light foods, that can be a little bit of a challenge sometimes because people aren't used to it. But
right.
they find that this way of thinking is so easy to remember when they're going through their day and they're buying their food.
Mm-hmm. And it's almost that stoplight of like, all right, stop and think about it. Why am I craving this? Or why am I grabbing this? Is it because I really
yep.
need the fat in my body right now? Or does this just look really delicious?
Absolutely. And I tease people a lot, and I tease myself because I'm the health coach who
mm-hmm.
Can sometimes have a Starbucks addiction. And part of that comes in with, having cystic fibrosis. I need to make sure that I'm getting enough calories. And sometimes when I'm out and about and I haven't planned ahead,
mm-hmm.
Starbucks would be my go-to quick calorie drink. And what I realized is I had an emotional attachment to that
mm-hmm.
as well as, it just kind of filled an emotional need. And so helping my clients think about that too, so that they can overcome, just
right.
like I've overcome, habits that really makes you think about things is, okay, having one, one or two times a week isn't bad, but if I'm having one every day, why am I doing that?
Right.
Am I really needing it, or is it filling a different need in my life?
Exactly. And I think, especially with like the Starbucks thing, a lot of people it's just a daily habit, like brushing your teeth. You get in your car and the first thing I grab is coffee in my kitchen, but it's still a habit. So it's kind of like, how do you break that habit?
I'm kind of an all or nothing type person. So what I've been doing a lot of is, I set myself up with people who keep me accountable. Mm-hmm. I am very vocal about what my goals are. And I think that's something that I really help my clients with too, is, you need to start telling people, whether it's your health coach, whether it's a spouse or a good friend, mm-hmm. you need to start telling people what your goals are so that they can help you stay accountable. And that's one of the things I do is I tell them, okay, I need to, get rid of this bad habit in my life, and I need your help to remind me.
Right.
And when they remind me, I don't like it. It's mm-hmm. not comfortable. It's not always fun, but I've asked them to keep me accountable. And so it's a great reminder. And that's probably the first number one step that I share with people to overcome things.
A lot of people have the idea that, and I love that you brought up goals, because I think when people share their goals, it makes them feel very vulnerable. So mm-hmm. you have to almost break past that vulnerability and say, you know what, this is what I want. You have to reach outside of your comfort zone. And I feel like that's a good reason to have a health coach, because you're that person's go-to trustworthy figure.
Yes. And a lot of times, I've worked with business coaches before who make you feel good and bad at the same time,
right.
in a way where you're almost scared to share what's really in your heart. And so I make a point with my clients to just really encourage them that, we all mess up from time to time. Mm-hmm. And even people who live this lifestyle and teach it, we all have moments where we've kind of lost track of what we were going towards. And right. so we can't be embarrassed about that or feel bad about it. It is what it is, and sometimes life just happens. And mm-hmm. so being able to get right back up again after you've fallen down is a huge thing to remember. And so I'm always inspiring and encouraging my clients with that fact.
For sure. And you have such an amazing story yourself that, like you've very much alluded to already, that you practice what you preach. And you yourself have been given some pretty hefty some blows over your short life already. Like you said, you were born with cystic fibrosis. Mm-hmm. Your apartment burnt down.
Yes.
You had, 6-figure debt at one time?
Yes, we are like a year away from paying that off. It's amazing. So I don't even think we were debt free when we thought we were debt free. Mm-hmm. So that's something I like to celebrate. And not everybody appreciates how vocal I am about our story, because not
I love
everybody,
it. You're human.
Yeah. And I think, being able to be financially free is helping your health, mm-hmm. because it does cost a little bit. It's a little bit of planning to be healthy, to eat healthy, to choose healthy things. And what a lot of people don't realize is they have the money. It's just when you're strapped having to pay off debt, right. It doesn't look like you have the money because you're paying off debt.
Exactly.
So that's part of my story that I love to share with people, because it's possible. It takes some time. It's not going to happen overnight like I hoped it would.
Right. Well, it's kind of like weight loss. You don't gain 50 pounds and then lose it overnight.
Exactly. And the journey is what makes it worth it in the end.
For sure. Now let's talk a little bit about, I actually just did an event last week. I did a fundraiser event for cystic fibrosis. So it was very funny that I was able to talk to you this week. I was like, wow, what are the chances of that happening?
But you great strides.
Yeah, we had a great turnout. It was great. We had an awesome event. I held a boot camp, and all the donations that we raised went to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation.
So, awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. So you were born with it. You were diagnosed early at age. How did that affect your healthy living journey growing up?
Growing up, I look back on my life right now and I kind of chuckle that I'm a health coach because I did not really look into anything healthy growing up. I mean, to me, I was in such a medical paradigm that if it wasn't from my doctor and it wasn't a medicine, I wasn't going to try it. And so I don't think that's anything that happened on purpose. I think, you know, my parents did an awesome job about teaching me how to take care of myself and doing my treatments and just always making sure that I put myself first so that I don't get sick. And when I became an adult in my 20s, that's when I learned that, you know, a lot of the nutrition I was eating was kind of contributing to why I felt so tired all the time and why I had migraine headaches and why I was getting sick like several times a year. And as a CF person, you know, I mentioned before that you have to eat a lot of calories to gain a normal weight. And the scary part about that is if you get an infection and you start losing weight and you don't stay on top of it and get the medical help that you need right away, you can get scary thin, scary fast. And I experienced that last year. I was kind of vacillating between, do I want to find a new medical team and just do like natural medicine? I wasn't sure. And that indecision kind of made me lose some time. And I got really sick with an infection. I had depression and anxiety that were still from the apartment fire that kind of finally caught up with me. I also had a miscarriage, and so postpartum from that. All those things were the perfect storm, and I ended up in the hospital for 22 days weighing 92 pounds.
Oh,
it's
my
like
goodness.
30 pounds less from what I am now. And so I really, you know, I bounced back quickly. Today I'm at a healthy weight. My lung functions are higher than they expected they would ever be after that, because at that point in time I had 22% lung function, which meant I could crawl down my hallway, sort of.
Wow.
I mean, it's not fun to gasp for air, and I had never experienced that before. So having that experience and that understanding, I think, has really fueled my passion to be a health coach, because my journey with health happened in my 20s when I had a friend who saw me down 2 bags of Skittles in 20 minutes because I was having a sugar crash, and that's all I knew. And so she really inspired me to, you know, start eating real food and to stop drinking so much pop and drink more water. I always tell people water was something I used to shower with. I didn't want to drink it. And now, like, that's all I drink almost. And so I've just experienced such great things from choosing real food and quality nutrition that I can't help but share it. And
for sure,
I think because of what my parents taught me to take care of myself, I think that was really a foundation for being open to learning more in the health coaching industry.
Did you ever have a hard time with the CF where it was almost fighting against the idea of the CF defining who you are and like pushing past the disease or the ailments that a lot of people tend to think come with it? You know, a lot of times it's easy to sit back and be like, oh, I have cystic fibrosis. I'm just going to sit around and eat my calories. And I mean, how do you get past that to become the person that you are?
You know, I'm a very positive person. One of my gifts is encouragement, and I just love to be around people, and I'm a go-getter. And so growing up, I always wanted to be a professional singer, and I've recorded CDs. I love to sing and write, and that's always a part of me. But that drive really made me not aware of how much of a burden the whole stigma of CF really was on me. And it wasn't until probably about 4 years ago when I really started this journey of personal growth that I was able to dig deep to find it. Because, you know, when you're a child and you're sick, you kind of noticed how your family and your friends and your parents react to you being in the hospital. And I don't think anybody means for it to happen, but what happened with me is I always felt like I had to be the strong one. And so instead of really dealing with how I felt, I would just stuff it down and kind of lock it away. And when I started digging it out, then I really realized, wow, I had this stigma of dying young. And it really stopped me from going fully into what I wanted to do, because I always had this fear that the moment I would start to do it, I would get really sick and die, and that would be it. And so my way of getting through that was really starting to work with health coaches and with business coaches who spoke life into me and just, really helped me believe in myself.
Okay.
And I also, I listen to a lot of audios. I love to watch podcasts or any type of sermons. I love to listen to Elevation Church. They're from North Carolina. And just things that really feed my soul to keep my mind focused on the truth that it doesn't matter if I'm sick or not. There's this mission that I've been given, and I owe it to everyone around me to do it.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, that's just surrounding yourself with positive people and personal growth material.
Right. I think that's so important. People get stuck in this rut of where you hop in your car and you think that you just need to turn on the radio. But think of other things that you can do. To put in a positive podcast, put in an audiobook, and just, even if you're not concentrating on it, your mind still has this amazing power to pull in those positive energies.
Yep. Absolutely.
What's your favorite audiobook or series?
Oh goodness. I don't really have a favorite audio book because I listen to one of the coaches that I work with is Sandy Krakowski. Okay. And she's a social media expert. I've been taking coaching classes from her for a long time, and so I listen to a lot of those coaches. Those coaching calls. I listen to a lot of Elevation Church podcasts. I also love to read. I recently read the book The Power of Habit by, is it Charles Duhigg?
I think I've read that as well.
It was amazing.
Yes.
And I used to be the type of person who would be kind of like, why would you ever listen to an audiobook, or why would you listen to anything that wasn't music? And when I made the decision to learn more about myself and to grow as a person, I love listening to audios now, and to just, even in the background, like you said, I'm not really paying attention, but all of a sudden one line will come through and I'll be like, oh my gosh, that's what I needed to hear.
Yes. And you can use it for so many parts. All my readers and listeners know that I am a huge fan of listening to audio podcasts and books when I'm running. Because just like, I'm not necessarily tuned into what's going on, but every once in a while I'll catch something and be like, that's what I needed to get through this run. Okay, now we can get through. And that's kind of my special place. So I'm right there with you for sure.
I can't listen to music when I run. I have to listen to somebody speaking. Otherwise, because I'm a singer, I want to sing with it.
Right.
And singing and running at the same time doesn't really work out. So I have to listen to an audio.
That's funny. So you are running well now.
I am. I've been waiting for the weather to get better in Bismarck because we have this beautiful running path by our house. So I ran a 5K a couple of years ago, which was the first time I'd ever been in any type of race that wasn't a walk. And I would love to do another one next year. I'm not quite built up yet to run anything this year, but that's my goal for next year, is to run another 5K.
That's great. That's a great goal. Are you also doing some strength training work?
I do yoga classes 2 to 3 times a week at the gym here in town. And sometimes in the summer, there's a yoga studio that does yoga in the park.
Cool.
And so that's kind of a really cool atmosphere to do it in. So I love to do that.
Yeah, and I'm sure that, again, helps you center yourself. And
it does. And it helps my lung functions. I mean, that yoga, when you do a yoga class, it's amazing. And I've worked with personal trainers before where we did like weight training and all of that, endurance and flexibility. And I've just always found that running and yoga seem to be my sweet spots when it comes to exercise.
And that's really what it's all about, finding what you love and something that you can do regularly. Because if you hate it, then you're not going to stick with it. So,
absolutely.
For sure. So you kind of mentioned before that you started talking to other health and wellness coaches. Is that what started opening your eyes to that profession for yourself?
It is. Actually what happened was I had been doing a little bit of graphic design work.
Okay.
In the city that we lived in a couple of years ago, and I ran into somebody at a business meeting who sold a product called Juice Plus, and so I started taking that.
We take Juice Plus.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you sell it too? If you mind if I ask.
No, yeah, we do. Yep.
You do? Well, now we have another thing
There
that we
you
can
go.
do at Plus conference. So I started getting into the business with Juice Plus, and that's kind of what opened the door to the whole personal growth experience and the health industry as a whole. And that foundation, just all of the learning that you get from that, from such great professionals, is what really built this passion in me to share health.
Well, go ahead, since we brought up Juice Plus, go ahead and share what it is, because I actually haven't. I really don't talk about it very often. So,
you know, I talk about it here and there, but Juice Plus is fruits and vegetables in a capsule or in a chewable form. And if you take all three of them, the Orchard, Garden, and Vineyard blend, you're getting essentially, I think, like 21, the nutrients from about 21 fruits, vegetables, berries, and grains. And I've been taking it now for about 5.5 years. And when I first started, I wasn't expecting to get anything out of it. I just liked the fact that it was my fruits and vegetables, because at that point in time, I wasn't eating very many. And what I found happen over time, and what my husband found, is that we started craving fruits and vegetables naturally. And so that's what really opened up the door to eating healthy. And I take probably 2 to 3 times the amount of Juice Plus because I have CF.
okay.
I've met several doctors at different health talks who told me that anybody who is dealing with any type of illness already, that they really should take as much as they can afford. So sometimes when I'm sick, I will take 6 times the amount if I want it out of my system fast. And I tell people I will skip a breathing treatment before I'll skip Juice Plus, because it's that important to me.
Wow, that's awesome. And I think it's also important for us to say, like, yes, it's a pill, but it's actually a nutrition. It has a nutrition label, not a supplement label. So it actually is considered a whole food.
Yeah, it's made from food. They take the food, they juice it, and then they dehydrate it through a cold temperature process so that nutrients aren't harmed, and that's how they get it in a capsule. And I have one of my business partners, she says it's Jetson food.
It really is, yeah. Right. And it's definitely not it's not an excuse to not eat your fruits and vegetables, but I always tell people it's a great way. You know, we kind of choose our favorites. Like, we eat broccoli and Brussels sprouts just about every single day. So you're missing out on all the other colorful fruits and vegetables. So this kind of helps to make sure that you're getting the wide variety that your body requires and craves. Yeah.
Absolutely, because we all are creatures of habit. I know here, like, my husband and I eat tons of onions and garlic and like grapes and apples or pears. Those kind of, and of course kale and spinach. I mean, I could go on and on, but yeah, we don't eat like papaya or cherries, or even, we don't even eat tomatoes on a regular basis. So it's just a great variety of getting that rainbow.
Well, cool. Well, I know that you had mentioned you're coming to Charlotte in July, so be ready for some amazing tomatoes.
Awesome.
We have the best. South has the best tomatoes ever.
Really? Oh, I love that.
So that's kind of how you got introduced into Dr. Sears, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. And then talk a little about what is the L.E.A.N Health Coach Program, and what does L.E.A.N stand for?
L.E.A.N stands for lifestyle, exercise, attitude, and nutrition.
Okay.
And so the L.E.A.N Start program is essentially for parents and caregivers of kids ages 3 through 12. But what I have found is I've had several clients who are their parents of kids who are either married and out of the house, or they never had kids and they needed something to start with. And so when I teach L.E.A.N Start, I really teach it as a good, solid foundation. It helps everybody as a whole just learn about healthy fats. You learn about the types of protein and how much protein that your body needs. You also learn about water and fruits and vegetables and what else do we learn about? You learn about just balancing all of that out. And it's a 6-week program, the Lean Start program is. There's also Primetime Health, which is for adults and seniors. And that goes into a little more depth of what you need, as an adult when your body starts feeling lots of aches and pains, and how to kind of combat that. And that is a 4-week program, and both of them I teach in person or online.
Okay.
So
cool. Can you name any foods that are anti-inflammatory that can help with joint pain?
You're putting me on the spot. A lot of the anti-inflammatory foods will be a lot of the antioxidants, like blueberries. Blackberries are great too. A lot of people don't know this, but garlic and onions help with inflammation as well. Also, avocados are great. Let's see.
The only one that I know, like straight from the top of my head, is ginger.
Yes, ginger is a good one too. And ginger, for some reason, I have yet to actually buy it in the store. I still buy the already ground up ginger. So I forget that it's, a vegetable, a root vegetable. Let's see. A lot of people don't know this, but artichokes are one of the top foods for diabetics.
Really?
Yes. So when I do my coaching online with people, I give them access to a whole bunch of different recipes that they can try. And we have some people right now that are trying the artichokes. So I haven't cooked one yet. I have an issue with how the texture of them, so I'm working through that.
Just make sure that you steam it for a really long time.
Okay, good to know.
And make sure to cut the tips off of the leaves.
Okay, will do.
Other than that, you're fine. A lot of times I'll take like the center part out, so just the big leaves are left, and you fill it with just like a Greek yogurt dip or something, and then you can use that as a dip. I'm vegan now, but it's very good.
Okay.
My husband loves that. So what are some things that people should keep in mind if they're interested in getting health coaching?
I tell people the main thing to keep in mind is you want to find a health coach that you can identify with in a way where they encourage you, inspire you, and keep you accountable. There are all kinds of different programs out there, and I think more than anything, it's the person that is going to be partnering with you that you want to really make sure that you connect with, because that relationship is what will kind of make or break whether or not you're going to stick with it. And so find somebody who lives what they teach. There's a lot of people out there who don't live what they teach. Right. And I'm very upfront with my people. I let them know I am not perfect. I have struggles just like everybody else, but I'm constantly working to get better and to live this lifestyle. And so find somebody who can really help you walk that walk, because they have walked it themselves. And also find a program that is easy for you to understand. A lot of people kind of start out, and if they feel like they're being too deprived of some of their favorite foods because they've never done anything healthy before, they're not going to stay with it. Right. So you want to make sure that you find a program that isn't so strict that you feel like life is horrible.
Right. When it comes to, you brought up a fabulous point. I feel like one of the reasons that people fail so much with diets and weight loss is because, they'll say, okay, starting Monday, I'm going to do a complete 180 on my diet and do things completely differently. Well, that's not really possible. That's not a logical way to go about it. So how do you kind of transition your clients from taking them from where they are now to getting to where they want to be?
Sure. That's a great question. Just a couple weeks ago, I'm in the middle of an online Lean Start workshop right now. And a couple weeks ago, I had one of my students share with me what her goals were for the following week. And this was an individual whose husband is going through a job change where he's taken away from home a little bit longer than they are used to. One of her kids is graduating from high school, and she herself works 60 hours a week. And so I asked her for one goal and she gave me like 3 to 4 of them. And I stopped her and I said, okay, I fully believe that you are able to meet these goals in the future. But honey, you are strapped and stressed out right now. So let's focus on one,
Right.
so that we don't feel like we're failing. And so we narrowed it down to one. And I said, if you happen to do a few of these other things throughout the week, we can celebrate it. But let's not put so much pressure on ourselves to reach that goal. And so really helping them see their week as a whole, and helping them see what circumstantial things are in their path is what I like to do, to help them narrow it down and take baby steps.
Right. For sure. Baby steps. It's all taking one step at a time. Otherwise, it's overwhelming and it's impossible. I mean, it truly, truly is. Now, I know that we're starting to get close to time, but I definitely want to bring up your amazing book, In Sickness and in Health, Lessons Learned from the Journey of Cystic Fibrosis to Total Health. I was reading the synopsis and reading over it and everything, and it sounds like it's not just for people that have cystic fibrosis. I mean, it sounds like everybody can get something out of this.
You know, it's kind of like a personal growth book. Or I wrote it from the standpoint of, you know, living with cystic fibrosis, because I have a heart for people with this disease, obviously.
Sure.
But what I've come into contact with is people with any kind of illness and their family members. A lot of them are in this mindset where they don't understand the significance of personal growth. And so instead of writing a memoir or writing, you know, how life with CF sucks, because there's so much of that out there, I decided to write this like a personal growth book and almost like a mini coaching session. And it really isn't just for people with CF. I mean, I believe there are things in there that can help anybody. And I wrote this after our apartment fire, and so I didn't really get into that whole experience because I was still kind of processing it at the time. But definitely, you know, there are times where I go back and I flip through this book and I'm like, am I still, like, do I still believe that, or do I still live that? And I find that it applies no matter what season I'm in. And I can build upon it.
Right. A lot of it seems like you mentioned a lot about conquering fear, how to deal with fear, moving forward and away from fear. What do you recommend to someone who is in that place where they have a lot of fear in their life and they don't know what to do right now?
You know, I have this thing that I share in my book about how I never wanted to face my fear of dying young, or of that statistic of dying young. And because of that, it was always just this little gremlin sitting on my shoulder. I have a friend who always says I have a gremlin on my shoulder. And it was just always kind of nitpicking at me in the back of my mind. And what I share with people in my book is that you really have to take the time to face your fear. And when I mean face your fear, what I mean is you have to sit down and have a little heart-to-heart with yourself. And first of all, acknowledge that the fear is there. And then acknowledge how it's making you feel.
Right.
Because until you really know how it makes you feel, you can't overcome it because you don't know what you're overcoming. And then after that, you can move on to, okay, here's what I'm going to do to overcome this fear. And, you know, fear is a great thing at the same time because it kind of proves that there's something in your life that's important.
Exactly.
And it proves that you're going in the right direction, but it doesn't mean you have to stop.
Right.
So
that's great.
That's really it, is just facing it and journaling through all of that as well.
Well, what do you have? Do you have any upcoming projects coming up? Another book in the future, perhaps?
Oh gosh, I have so many ideas in my brain. Right now I'm in the process of rescheduling a recording studio appointment to record a few more songs that I've written.
That's awesome.
I was supposed to do it in April and I got sick with a cold, so I was like, this isn't going to work. So that's probably, as far as big projects, that's probably the first one. I have a lot of ideas right now for books, and I plan on writing more in the future. I just don't know when that is, because right now I'm really focusing on my coaching clients and just giving the best service and through these lean programs. So I'm sure those are.
Oh no. Can you hear me?
Did you? I can still see you.
Okay, I'm still with you. Okay, there you are.
Okay, awesome.
Pause for a second. So you're doing a lot with your one-on-one clients, and people can get more from you at mandyanderson.com, correct?
mandyanderson.com.
B. Anderson, thank you. And
yes,
do you do coaching? I mean, through Skype, you said, right?
Yep. I do coaching online. We can do coaching through Skype. We can now do coaching through Google Plus
there you
too.
Go.
So. And then a lot of the Lean Start and Primetime Health group coaching is actually done online in a private classroom that the Dr. Sears Wellness Institute sets up for them. So it's very interactive.
Oh, that's really cool. All right, awesome. Well, we always end all of my podcast interviews with a little favorites. Basically, I ask a few questions and you just say the first thing that comes into your mind.
Okay.
You ready?
Awesome.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Your favorite band?
Favorite band? Oh, can it be a singer?
Yeah. I just want you to know that you're so big into music. I'd love to hear what you recommend.
Well, it's a toss-up right now between Taylor Swift and Natalie Grant.
Okay, those are good ones. I actually just ran a relay race last month, and I was the team captain of it. So our name was Team Taylor's Swifts.
Oh, cool.
We thought that was kind of cute. I kind of rolled my eyes, but let's see. Your favorite winter vegetable?
Favorite winter vegetable would probably, oh goodness, there's so many of them. Would probably have to be stewed tomatoes.
Ooh.
Make a lot of stew in the winter.
Delicious. And I'm going to go off of this because you said spinach and kale, so I'm going to guess that you drink smoothies.
Yes.
Okay, what's your favorite shake?
My favorite is to take 100% orange juice with spinach and frozen pineapple, and then I mix it with the Juice Plus Vanilla Complete Shake.
Okay, that sounds yum. I haven't had I haven't tried the Juice Plus protein shake yet, to be honest, because it's soy, and I actually don't use soy products. But I've heard really good things about it for people that do.
Yeah, I love it. It's the only shake mix that I've been able to like. My doctors have tried different things growing up when I was a kid, and this is the only one I really like. So.
Okay, cool. What is your favorite yoga pose?
Favorite yoga pose? Oh, I don't know if I know the name of it right now. There's one where it's got to be a pigeon stretch.
Okay, I know what that one is. That is for your hips and stuff, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, very cool. Your favorite way to be active during the summertime?
During the summer is probably running outside early in the morning when the sun is out, but it's not super hot yet.
Yes, I love that, watching the sunrise come up.
Yes. Oh, I love it. And I'm a night owl, but in the summer, I love getting up early to run before this whole away from you.
Let's see. And what is this can be the last question. What's your favorite cheat meal? Now you're logged up again.
My favorite cheat meal?
Yes.
Oh, it's weird because I can still see you. Okay, my cheat meal is we have this place in town called JL Beers. It's a burger place, and they have beer. But I love to go and I have their BLT blue burger with cheese, and then they have like these barbecue homemade chips.
Oh.
And so I love to eat the burger. So I'll take a bite of the burger and then I'll take a bite of the chips because the barbecue sauce is amazing. But it's a little too spicy for me, so I have to share the chips with my husband. So that's probably right now my favorite cheat meal.
That's quite delicious. I'm not going to lie. A burger with pretzels or chips on top of it to add that crunch.
Yes.
It's pretty good.
It is pretty good.
I know people are listening to this going, Taylor, aren't you vegan? Yes, I am, but I haven't always been.
Yeah, and sometimes those memories come back to haunt you.
When people talk about amazing blue cheeseburgers, exactly.
Yes.
Well,
Mhm.
Mandy, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. How can people, aside from mandybmore.com, you're also on Facebook,
Yep,
correct?
mandyanderson.com.
Why am I saying that? I'm going crazy today.
It's okay.
There was a plane that just went over my house. I was like, oh my goodness.
That's
Yes.
okay.
So you're on Facebook, and it's
Yes.
just simple.
Yep, you can find me on Facebook if you go to my website.
Uh,
Otherwise, it's facebook.com/. Mandy B. Anderson Biz.
okay.
B-I-Z.
Okay. And are you on Twitter?
I am. Yep. And I think it's just Mandy B. Anderson.
Yeah. I want to say that's what it is too, because that's how I found you.
Okay.
All right. Well, cool. Well, again, thank you so much, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed this. Please leave your thoughts below and contact Mandy. Get some great information. Her blog posts are awesome over at her site and very insightful. So thank you, Mandy.
Thank you, Taylor. It's been a pleasure.